Why is a knockdown the end for some boxers but the beginning for others? Why are there moments when a single punch seemingly destroys everything, yet unleashes something greater? What happens in those few seconds when a fighter is on the ground, the ring falls silent, and the referee begins to count? Boxing isn't just about strength or technique, it's about will. And this is where the stories begin for those who fell only to rise stronger. Top 1. Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. In 2021, Ryan Garcia was at the absolute peak of his professional career so far. Young, explosive, undefeated, and holding the WBC silver lightweight title, many considered him the future face of boxing. His opponent, Luke Campbell, was experienced, an Olympic gold medalist, but in the eyes of many, just another name on Garcia's path to the top. This very underestimation made the fight dangerous. Campbell started focused and tactically disciplined. He moved calmly, deliberately sought his moments, and waited for an opening. It came sooner than expected. A precise left punch hit Garcia hard, snapped his head to the side, and sent him to the canvas. For the first time in his career, Ryan Garcia was down. The arena fell silent. For a brief moment, everything that had been built around him seemed to collapse. Was this the end of his undefeated myth? Had the pressure become too great? Garcia got up, visibly shaken, but internally focused. He knew he couldn't lose this fight. Round after round, he worked his way back, adjusted his strategy, moved more controlled, and forced Campbell to take more risks. The tension increased with every minute. In the 7th round, the decisive moment came. A perfectly placed body shot hit Campbell, sapped his strength, and ended the fight prematurely. Ryan Garcia hadn't just won. He had proven that a knockdown wouldn't break him. This victory showed who he truly is, a fighter who can fall and still get back up. Top 2. Tyson Fury versus Steve Cunningham. In 2013, Tyson Fury faced one of the most important fights of his early career. It was his 21st professional fight, an eliminator for a position in the IBF heavyweight title race. The venue was the legendary Madison Square Garden, a stage that either builds or breaks careers. His opponent, Steve Cunningham, was experienced, tactically smart, and known for outsmarting big opponents. The fight started surprisingly evenly matched. Cunningham moved quickly, used angles, and constantly put pressure on Fury. Then came the moment that changed everything. A clean punch hit Fury, and the over 2-meter tall Brit fell heavily to the canvas on his back, visibly dazed. The arena held its breath, a heavyweight of that size on the ground, in one of the most important fights of his life. Was that too much? Was this stage too big for him? Fury got up, but the knockdown had left its mark, not just physically, but mentally too. He now had to fight a clever opponent and simultaneously fight against his own body, which had just been lying motionless on the ground. Step by step, Fury began to rebuild the fight. He used his jab, maintained distance, and forced Cunningham to take more risks. In the 7th round, the tide turned. Fury landed a decisive blow, followed up, and ended the fight prematurely. This victory was more than a knockout. It was proof that Tyson Fury can fall and still come back. A characteristic that would later define his entire career. Top 3. Manny Pacquiao versus Serikzhan. Yeshmagambetov. In 2003, Manny Pacquiao was still at the beginning of his journey in the United States. He had only been there for a short time, trying to make a name for himself and force the next step in his career. His recent victories were impressive, quick knockouts that generated attention. But this fight was about more. It was about the IBF Super Bantamweight title and proving that he was more than just an explosive challenger. His opponent, Serikzhan Yeshmagambetov, was not considered a major threat. This very assumption would prove to be deceptive. Early in the fight, a clean punch hit Pacquiao, sending him to the canvas. A moment of shock. Manny Pacquiao was on the mat, in a fight that many had already dismissed as a mere formality. Only one man before him had managed to knock him down like that. Was this a sign that he wasn't yet ready for this level? Pacquiao got up. Not angry, not rushed, but focused. He knew this fight couldn't be lost in his new home. Round after round, he increased the pace, put his opponent under constant pressure, and showed the unyielding will that would later become his trademark. The comeback was tough, but controlled. In the fifth round, the decision came. Pacquiao landed precise punches, forced his opponent onto the defensive, and ended the fight by knockout. He had not only defended the title, but also proven that he comes back stronger, even after a knockdown. This victory solidified his reputation and marked another step on his path to becoming a legend. Top 4. Jason Jackson versus Cornelio Whitlock. In 2015, Jason Jackson and Cornelio Whitlock met in a fight that was considered the most important of their careers so far for both. It was the kind of duel where it's decided who takes the next step up and who stays put. The tension was high because both knew there would be no second chance. The fight started intensely. Whitlock quickly showed his punching power and put pressure on Jackson. Already in the second round, the shock moment came. A clean hit caught Jackson, causing him to lose his balance and sending him to the canvas. The referee began to count, and for a brief moment it seemed like everything would end before it had truly begun. Was Jackson not up to this level? Had the significance of the fight overwhelmed him? Jackson got up, visibly shaken, but inwardly determined. He knew he had to change everything now. Instead of reacting frantically, he slowed the fight down, took the pace out of it, and tried to conserve his energy. Round after round, he worked his way back, absorbed punches, and patiently waited for the right moment. In the third round, the tide turned. Jackson went all in, increased the pressure, and hit Whitlock with a series of hard punches. Whitlock couldn't withstand the assault and went down. The fight was over. Jason Jackson had not only recovered from the knockdown, but had spectacularly turned the fight around. This victory was more than just another entry in the statistics. It marked the end of Whitlock's career and showed that Jackson possesses the ability to come back after a setback and perform under immense pressure. Top 5. Arturo Gatti versus Wilson Rodriguez. In 1996, Arturo Gatti was already considered one of the most exciting fighters of his generation. He was the reigning IBF super featherweight world champion and had made a name for himself with his aggressive style. On March 23, 1996, his first title defense was scheduled. His opponent was the Dominican Wilson Rodriguez, a boxer with a reputation for never backing down in the ring. What followed would become one of the most memorable nights in Gatti's career. The fight began intensely and brutally. Both boxers exchanged heavy blows, but surprisingly, it was Rodriguez who took control early. With precise hits, he put pressure on the champion, at times almost closing his eyes, and finally sent Gatti to the canvas. The world champion sat on the mat, marked by the punches. Giving up, however, was not an option. Before him lay not just a fight, but the loss of his title and his credibility. Gatti got up, battered, almost blind, yet driven by pure will. He gritted his teeth and fought on, even though every punch caused pain. Later, he himself managed to knock Rodriguez down, but the fight remained open and merciless. With each round, it became clearer that Gatti had fully recovered. In the sixth round, the explosive turning point came. Both continuously exchanged hard blows, but Gatti prevailed. He landed a decisive punch and ended the fight by knockout. The arena erupted. This night was nominated for Fight of the Year and made history. Arturo Gatti had fallen, but he got back up. This victory made him immortal and solidified his reputation as one of the greatest fighters with heart, courage, and unshakable fighting spirit. These stories clearly show one thing: a knockdown decides nothing. In boxing, as in life, it's not about how hard you fall, but whether you have the courage to get back up. Every one of these fighters was on the canvas, counted, doubted, and yet they fought back. If these stories have inspired you, then don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Because here we tell exactly the stories that show why giving up is never an option.